I lived like Steve Jobs for 30 days. When I say like Steve Jobs, I don't just mean wearing a black turtleneck and eating apples all day. I mean, I tried to rebuild my life based on the habits, philosophies, and rituals that defined one of the most iconic, visionary, and difficult men in modern history. And after 30 days, I discovered things I didn't expect, both scary and inspiring. The challenge started with something simple: the uniform. Steve Jobs wore the same style, a black turtleneck, jeans, and sneakers, almost every single day for decades. His reason: to eliminate decision fatigue. Don't waste brain power on clothing when you can use it to build the future. So for 30 days, I did the same. One outfit repeated. Within a week, my mornings felt lighter. I didn't stand in front of my closet debating over colors or styles. I grabbed the uniform, put it on, and moved on. Day by day, I realized how much mental clutter even small decisions create. Removing them created space. At first, it felt robotic, but then it felt liberating. The uniform may look boring, but it's an invisible productivity hack. But Jobs wasn't just about simplicity in clothes. He was obsessed with minimalism everywhere. His house for years was famously almost empty. He believed fewer things created more focus. So I stripped my space down, cleared my desk of every extra paper, removed gadgets, cut clutter ruthlessly. At first, the emptiness screamed at me. The clean surfaces made me uneasy, like I had lost something. But within days, my focus sharpened like a blade. Sitting at a bare desk with just my computer and notebook, I had no escape, no distractions. Minimalism wasn't just about aesthetics, it was about exposure. With nothing to hide behind, the only thing left in the room was my work. Living like Steve Jobs also meant eating like him. And that's where it got strange. Jobs was known for extreme diets, sometimes vegan, sometimes fruitarian, sometimes fasting for days. He'd eat carrots or apples until his skin supposedly took on a tint. For 30 days, I experimented. Mostly plant-based meals, simplified food, stricter timings. The first week was rough. My body craved variety. Some days, eating just fruit made me feel light. Other days, dizzy. But I understood his obsession with purity. Fewer options meant less distraction, stronger discipline. Still, Jobs' extreme diet wasn't sustainable for me. It taught me restraint, yes, but it also taught me that obsession over purity runs close to the edge of unhealthy. Next came the mind. Jobs was not only a marketer and designer, he was a spiritual seeker. He traveled to India, studied Zen Buddhism, meditated. So I added daily meditation. At first, my brain rebelled. A million thoughts swarmed. 10 minutes felt like prison. But as the weeks passed, silence turned into clarity. Breathing into nothingness gave me a strange sense of control. One morning, after 20 minutes of meditation, I opened my eyes and felt locked into the day with razor focus. I began to see how Jobs' combination of minimalism and spirituality gave him the ability to obsess with intensity without burning out completely, though in his case, even meditation couldn't soften all the edges. And then came the obsession. This was the hardest part. Jobs was notorious for what people called his reality distortion field. He believed so deeply in ideas that he could make others believe too, even when those ideas seemed impossible. To live like him, I had to test what it felt like to hold reality in my grip. So I picked projects I'd been dragging my feet on, and I told myself, failure is not allowed. Every day, I repeated, this will happen. No excuses. That energy was intoxicating. Suddenly, I stopped looking for escape routes and started bending solutions into existence. Deadlines seemed impossible, but I attacked them with the conviction that they weren't. And the crazy part? Many of those projects actually finished faster and better than I expected, fueled by the sheer aggression of belief. But here's where things got dark. Living like Steve Jobs also meant confronting his flaws. People close to him described him as brilliant, but often brutal, demanding, cold, unreasonably harsh. So, for 30 days, I held people to higher standards around me. I pushed for excellence. I said this can be better, and while output improved at times, something else happened too. I started to see frustration in people's eyes. I realized that being relentlessly demanding without balancing empathy can crush spirits. Jobs got away with it because his vision was magnetic. But copied blindly, it turns toxic. I saw firsthand how thin the line is between inspiring greatness and alienating people. Another aspect of Jobs' lifestyle was focus. Extreme, almost frightening focus. He wasn't known for being balanced. Family, hobbies, downtime, they were often sacrificed on the altar of Apple. For 30 days, I tried the same. I cut out TV, random scrolling, wasted hours. I funneled energy only into projects and essentials. The productivity shot through the roof. I got more done in 30 days than I normally do in 3 months. But the cost, my relationships suffered. Friends asked where I disappeared to. Conversations grew shorter. My world became narrower, sharper, colder. By week 4, I felt productive but also isolated. I understood, viscerally, how a genius changes the world while simultaneously losing touch with parts of it. Greatness extracts a toll. Some days during the experiment, I argued with myself about whether I was glorifying obsession or learning from it. On day 20, as I pulled another 14-hour work stretch in my black turtleneck, I looked in the mirror and asked, is this dedication or delusion? The truth was both. I felt powerful, disciplined, sharp, but I also felt drained, rigid, and strangely joyless at times. Jobs achieved legendary things, but he was also infamous for the wake of damaged relationships and strained health he left behind. Living like him reminded me that imitation comes with danger. It can amplify strengths, but also import weaknesses. By the end of the 30 days, my discoveries were clearer than ever. First, simplicity is a superpower. Wearing one outfit, stripping away clutter, saying no to endless options, it doesn't reduce life. It multiplies focus. Second, belief shapes reality. Convincing yourself that something is possible makes you chase it with a ferocity that bends outcomes. Third, obsession builds progress, but burns balance. Push far enough, and you lose softness, connection, rest. Jobs lived on that razor's edge, and I felt my own toes dance on it in just a month. But here's the shocking twist. Living like Steve Jobs didn't make me feel like him. It made me feel like me. A raw, more extreme version of myself. The hacks uniform, minimalism, meditation were powerful. The mindset of reality distortion was powerful, but the cost, the coldness, the loneliness, it reminded me that greatness without warmth can be hollow. So what happens when you live like Steve Jobs for 30 days? You learn that discipline, belief, and obsession can transform your output beyond imagination. You also learn that brilliance without compassion is brittle. And you learn that behind the myth of the man was a human, flawed, forceful, fragile. I walked into the challenge thinking I'd emerge closer to a genius. I walked out realizing what makes a life worth living isn't only high peaks of productivity, it's the balance between peaks and valleys. Jobs changed the world. But in copying him for 30 days, I discovered I don't just want to change the world. I want to live fully in it.